Put your hands together for Vince Freeman, everybody.
All right, that's my jam, by the way. Like, if y'all aren't on that song, get on it. That's my jam. Hey, it's good to be here. UNC Charlotte, make some noise real quick. Make some noise. It's good to be up here, sharing my life with y'all. I wouldn't say I had a hard life growing up, but it was good, you know. Like, there were things in it that made me be a little different than the rest of y'all. I grew up, you know, I'm black. Grew up in a mainly all-white neighborhood, went to an all-white school. So growing up was a little difficult, but I'm going to share some stories with y'all. I hope y'all like it. Y'all hear me? Everybody good? No? I wouldn't shut up so y'all can hear, all right, in the back. I'm just playing. It's not going to be like that. All right. Anyway, first few years of your life, your parents, they teach you how to stand, talk. Next couple years of your life, everybody tells you to sit down and shut up. So after that, at some point, they're not really satisfied with who you are, so they tell you, you know, you got to grow up. Growing up was kind of difficult for me. I had two older sisters. You know, they used to torture me a lot and stuff. And so I figured the best way for me to grow up was to make money. I figured out that's what I'm going to do. We used to go out to eat. I would go from table to table, just picking up a couple dollars. After we left, $3 here, $4 there, $5 here. And I'm like, okay. Get to the car, I'd be counting my money, $20, $30 before we got in the car. My mom and dad would be furious. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, this money was so valuable, people would take care of it, you know? As you start to grow up, adults, they start making up sayings and stuff like that. You know, they're like, oh, you get older, like, work like you don't need the money. That is the worst advice I have ever heard in my entire life. If I worked like I didn't need the money, I wouldn't work. I'd be sitting at home all day. I wouldn't even go to class. And they tell you, oh, penny saved is a penny earned. That's also terrible advice. I have 100 pennies at home. I save them. If I don't go to work, I don't make any money. My personal favorite, don't judge a book by its cover. That's terrible advice. If I don't judge a book by its, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, if you want to know the title of the book, look at the cover. You want to know when it's made, you look at the cover. You want to know who published it, you look at the cover, you know, where it's found in the library. That's why people don't like to read the backs of covers of DVDs and stuff like that. I think what they mean is, if you look hard enough, you'll eventually find what's staring you in the face. I grew up in Swananoa, North Carolina, just outside of Asheville. It's home to a lot of good stuff, a lot of good food, local foods, things like that. Great music. It's also home to some not so good stuff. Home, meth capital of the world. Methamphetamine is a terrible drug. They got posters of it, billboards. It's like, this is you on meth. Teeth hanging out, it's nasty. But I had a lot of white friends because that's just the area I grew up in. It was my neighborhood. When I went to school, that's how it was. Come to find out, most of my white friends were rich. And if you want to be successful in life, that's the two best combos you can have. You want to be white and you want to be rich. If you're rolling the dice and you ask God for two things, and you got white and rich out of that, he definitely heard you. I had a hard time a lot because I couldn't distinguish myself from my white friends. Like, we'd be hanging out, and they'd be like, hey, man, you know, it's cool, we're all white. I'm like, no, we're not. They're like, no, man, it's cool, like, we're white. I'm like, no, like, I'm black. It's okay to have black friends. And what they meant was, like, you know, we're white, it's cool, we're all the same. What I heard was, forget about your culture and join the Klan. And I was like, yo, like, y'all gotta chill with that. And it was difficult because I didn't have a whole lot of black friends growing up. It's just where I lived, you know? And so they'd be like, you know, we listen to the same music and stuff. And then they would make fun of me. They would say stuff. They'd call me names like Oreo, you know. If you black in here and you've been called Oreo, raise your hand. Every black person's hand is raised right now. I want you to know that. It's really not that funny anymore. They got a little creative. They tried to call me other names like Milk Dud, which didn't make any sense. Milk Dud's a chocolate on the outside and like a smooth caramel center, just like me on the inside. So I thought that was a compliment until everybody started saying it behind my back. Like, look at that Milk Dud. I'm like, okay, all right, whatever. So I had a hard time distinguishing myself from my white friends. And they would say stuff like, I would like listen to the type of music I like. Like, I'd be like, I like Jack Johnson. They'd mumble under their breath like, oh, somebody's black. I'm like, okay. So I used to get real uncomfortable. So if somebody would do that, I'd make a big deal. And they'd be like, I like John Mayer, no big deal, you know. Oh, somebody's African American. I'd be like, hey, man, it's him, guys, it's him. Yo, it's him. They're like, hey, man, chill out. I'm like, no, it's him. They're like, what? Who is it? I'm like, it's the dude who decides what race you are, man. I got a lot of questions for you. They're like, yo, chill out. I'm like, no. I'll make a big deal about it. I tell everybody, right? And they would say stuff like, oh, you're the whitest black guy I know. I'm like, let's get real. I'm the only black guy you know. The entire race is sitting on my shoulders. If I do something wrong, then, oh, all black people do that. If I did something else, I'd be like, oh, black people don't do that. Vince doesn't do it. I'm like, yo, there's other, you got to get outside of our private circle. There's other black people out there, you know? Being one of the only black kids in my school, it was real easy to be a target. Like, I had this one kid. I got called out of class for this. I was in band. I was a band geek. I got called out of class. The teacher was like, yo, I need to talk to you in the hallway. So, okay, I go outside. And there's this little white kid sniffling in the corner, like, I'm like, yo. I knew the kid. The kid was a known troublemaker. He was a ruffian, you know? So they said, I'm not going to say his name because he's probably watching. But they said, this young man says you assaulted him in the hallway. I wanted to, but I never did it. And I was like, okay, well, that's fine. I said, I didn't do it. You ever been accused of something so blatant that you just have no excuse other than that you didn't do it? Like, you don't know why you didn't do it. You don't remember that you didn't do it, but I didn't do it. He's like, no, he said you beat him up. So I said, well, let him tell what happened. So he said, well, I was in the hallway, and he came out of nowhere, and he started beating me and punching me, and he almost broke my arm. And as he was filling in the details, I started to remember what was actually happening. What had actually happened was I saw him picking on another kid, a real scrawny kid. He was throwing his lunch around and stuff like that, so I went over to break it up. I said, hey, you know, don't do that to him. He said, you know, I don't care. Got up in my face, right? So I pushed him off, you know. Kid fell over on the floor saying his arm was broken, you know. So that's cool. We cleared it up between the teacher and the principal. So I said, cool, I'm going back to class. He said, no, I need to talk to you downstairs. So I said, okay. So we go downstairs to his office, and he pulls out this booklet of paper. It's a notebook paper, stapled. It's about this thick. He starts to go through it. And this notebook paper was full of falsified claims by this kid that I had beaten him up every day since he had been there. He had times, dates, locations. This is a true story, I'm telling you. Everything, he had like dripped water on it to make it look like he had cried and like was smudging the graphite on the pencil. And he's like, day 52. Vince called me all kinds of names. He spat in my face, kicked me in the knees. I'm like, yo, I didn't even, like, the more and more we tried to go through this, I realized this was like a personal attack. Like, this kid had been planning this. I had known him for years. And then he messed up. He picked a date that I wasn't in school. And I said, look, March 14th, I wasn't even there. I was gone. I said, you can check the records. He went back to check the records. Turns out I wasn't there. I should have let it go. I didn't. I found the kid, and I beat the crap out of him. Because I figured once you've been acquitted, you might as well hit him. I was all right.